Hello, welcome to our mother and daughter channel. We're going to do a beginner friendly flexibility sequence. If you have any props, that would be really useful. They're not essential, but they can help to open the stretches. So if you had a strap or a belt, maybe cushions, something like that, or even any blocks. But firstly, we'll start to sit up nice and tall. So you could also do this beginning part in a chair. So grounding the hips, placing something under your sitting bones if you feel you're rounding. Just take a moment to tune into how you're feeling, noticing the breath. Maybe placing the hands on the belly just to sense the inhale and the exhale. So our flexibility can improve if we use the breath. So just see if you can inhale and exhale to release any tension from the body. Practicing inhaling and exhaling, releasing any tension. Excellent. Now we'll start to roll the shoulders back. So just working into our shoulder flexibility and the other way. Good. Back to center. Let's think about our neck. So shoulders down, gentle movements from side to side. Just noticing if one side is easier than the other. And then back to center. We're going to inhale and side stretch. And the other side. Inhale, exhale. So you can always have a bend in the elbow. Each time you inhale, think of lifting up and over. Try to keep that other hip down so we're not doing that. Excellent. And let's just do some gentle rotations, making this as small as you like, and the other way. Back to center, rotating the wrists. Keeping our wrists nice and flexible. So now we're going to bring the legs out to the front, so just give them a little bit of freedom. We can point and flex the feet. You can do one at a time. Excellent. And now think about where you feel a bit tight. So you may want to just open the chest a bit more. You may feel some tightness here. So my mum's going to keep her chest open, or you could bend and straighten. So here we're going to get a bit more freedom in the hamstrings. Good. And now we're going to come to our tabletop position. So this is where you could place a blanket under your knees or a cushion. So stack everything nicely, the hips over the knees, the shoulders over the wrists for our cat-cows. So think about your spine here, so try not to drop the neck, keep it in line. And we're going to gently tilt the buttocks up, belly drops, chest rises. Draw in the belly, rounding into our cat. So inhaling into our cow. So here we're working into the flexibility of the spine. And see if you can use your breath. So anywhere you feel that area is a bit tight, you could go a bit slower. You could try to breathe more into those places. Just letting the breath really help the movement. So inhaling as we come into the arch position and exhaling as we're rounding. Excellent. And now we're just going to rock slightly forward and back. And then we're going to sit the buttocks back into our child pose. So if you find child pose difficult, you could always place a blanket, a cushion here. That can help. Your hands could make a pillow. They could come behind. So we're just sinking the buttocks back and feeling a nice stretch. Breathe. Really try and breathe into the back of the body. Inhaling and exhaling to relax. Excellent. And coming back to our tabletop, we're now going to stretch the hip flexors a bit and the hamstrings. So this is where you could use some blocks. Stretch on that back thigh, the hip flexor, and then we can come back to work the back of the hamstring. So it's like a seesaw motion. When we come forward, the hips sink, but we still keep the chest lifted. We come back, we work the hamstring. Always think of keeping the spine elongated. Check this doesn't hurt your knee, that's why you want to keep something underneath. Anytime it doesn't feel right on your body, modify or miss out any movement. So keeping it dynamic, you could always hold the position for a bit longer. You could come into a full runner's lunge if you're more flexible. Still keeping strength in your legs. So these are all options. Excellent. And now we'll change legs. So you could help the leg through with your hand. So we're coming forward, getting a stretch in the hip flexor, back, the hamstring. What the blocks do is lift us up from the ground, so it's a little bit more accessible. You can also use a bit more weight, so you take the weight off the knee. Good, so if you're more flexible, you could always come into a runner's lunge. So getting a nice stretch here is where you should feel it. Still engaging the legs, so the hips are sinking, the chest is rising. Pressing into both feet. Back into hamstring stretch. All the half splits, that's what it's known as. Excellent. Now bring that leg back. I'm going to come into a bent-legged downward dog. So pressing through the hands, drawing in the belly. Just let the hips float up. Keep the knees bent. And here we can get a nice stretch in the back, especially when we bend the knees. So downward dog can stretch out our back. It can also start to stretch the hamstrings. So you could slowly pedal the feet. Anytime you want to break, come back down into your tabletop. Breathing here. So when the heels come down, we start to stretch the calves, but it's not essential for the heels to come down. Really work on your flexibility with patience and enjoy that stretch in the back. Excellent. Let's come back down. Let's have a rest in child pose. So just let the hips sink back. You could stretch out the arms. You could also walk them from one side to the other if you want more of a stretch in the lats. The back of the body. Breathing in and exhaling to release. Excellent. We're going to slowly come back up for some seated stretches. So first of all, we're going to come into a groin stretch. So you come into a wide-legged straddle. When you find a position where you feel a nice stretch, stay there. I'm going to come forward, but you don't have to. This is where you can use the pillows as support, so you could have as many as 3 pillows in front of you, and you just release into them. So it's more of a restorative feeling. Breathing in, and then exhaling. And as you exhale, just think of releasing into the earth, letting go of any tension. And just notice the effects of your breath on how much easier it is to relax. And it can help our flexibility. Tension can really rob us of our flexibility, so when we close our eyes, tune into the body. You can feel where you hold tension, and just giving yourself permission to release. Excellent. Coming back up, we'll do a few stretches on our back now. So this is where you could use a strap. You could also use a belt, a dressing gown, robe. So slowly coming down, let's just hug the knees into the chest. You can always put something under your head if that's more comfortable. Try and keep the chin tucked in. So let's just hug one knee in and the other. Can gently massage the back. Breathing nice and steadily. Good, let's just place the feet back down. So this is where we could use the strap, placing it on the ball of one of the feet. We can have a soft bend in the knee, especially if the hamstring's really tight. So you could move the leg forward dynamically just to see where your maximum stretch position is. And then when you feel that's okay, so you feel a comfortable stretch, you could hold that for a few breaths. For those who are more flexible, you could start to inch the other leg down. Check it's not pulling on your back. If it is, bring the leg back in. Draw the belly in to support the back. And just feel the stretch in the back of the hamstring. Close the eyes, keep the chin tucked in for length in the neck. And just breathe nice and deeply. Breathing in and exhale. So when you breathe in, you may slightly come out of the stretch. When you exhale, that's where you can deepen the stretch. Try and relax the face. So you can hold static stretches for about 30 seconds and even more. And these are okay to do when you feel warmer in the body. You don't want to do those at the beginning of a class. So relax any areas of the body that aren't involved in the stretch. Your face, good. Then we're just going to release the strap. Let's come into a figure 4 stretch. So flexing the foot, crossing it over the other leg. You should feel a stretch in the side, hip and the glute muscle. You could really gently push the thigh away if you want more of a stretch, or you could catch the back of the other leg, flex both feet. Draw the chin in. If you're more flexible, you could even straighten that other leg. Breathe here. Just feel where that stretch is. A good tip for relaxation is to think about elongating the exhale. So you could breathe in and then you exhale for a little bit longer. Excellent. Let's switch legs. So strap belt. If you haven't got a strap or belt, you just catch the back of the leg. But a strap or a belt can make it a bit more accessible if you're not used to stretching. Tuck the chin in. Keep it dynamic for a few moves so you can just feel where your muscle wants to go. And then when you find that place where you feel the stretch, but there's no pain, it's more of a muscular stretch, no sharp pains, nothing like that. You always want to stretch safely. Just hold that. Focus more on your breathing. So breathing in and exhaling. So it's on the exhale where you can find a slightly deeper stretch. But really tune into your own body, your muscles. So it's good to have some flexibility in the body, but we don't have to be like gymnasts. We still want some strength in the body, so we don't have to be flexible. Just a little bit of flexibility is really useful. So don't force yourself. If you want to start to bring the other leg down a bit, if you're more flexible, you could do. It's a much deeper stretch. You might not be ready for it. Flex the feet to ground the leg. And just bring that mind back to relaxing the body, especially the areas that aren't involved in the stretch. Especially the face, the jaw. And you can feel that back of the hamstring stretching. Excellent. So remove the strap, figure 4 stretch on the other leg. So finding the position that's right for you. You may be here. You may gently be pressing the thigh out slightly or catching the back of the thigh or even straightening the other leg. Just find that position where you feel some opening in the buttocks, the hip. Relax the face. Breathe. Excellent. Now we're just gently widen the legs to windshield wiper, then from side to side. You could always come into a twist, placing some blocks under your knees and the other side. So just see how this feels on your back. Also gets a stretch in the hips. And then we'll windshield wiper the legs all the way down, just for a few moments of relaxation. Legs can be extended or bent. If you have any back issues, I'd keep the legs bent. And just allow the body to sink into the mat. So feel the ground underneath you. See if you can soften the body. So allowing the bones to feel heavy, but the muscles now to soften. So with a few minutes of relaxation, we can really benefit the body, the mind. See if you can scan your body. Just notice if you hold tension in any places. See if you can breathe into those areas. Just allow them to relax. Can you soften the face, the jaw? Soften the eyes. Just allow the back to feel broad. Arms are relaxing. Allow the abdominal area to soften so the breath flows freely around the body. Can you bring your attention to your hips? Just allow them to feel a bit heavier. Relax the muscles in your thighs. Soften the knees, the calves, and let the feet relax. Just let the whole body surrender. Repeating, if you like, I relax, I release. And very gently bringing some movement back into the body, maybe stretching out. You could hug the knees into the chest, or you could roll to one side and just take a few breaths here. And in your own time, helping yourself up using your hands. Just come into a comfortable seated position. You could place your hands in prayer and thank yourself for practicing some flexibility today in our yoga practice. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope to see you again soon. If you have any comments, anything you'd like us to do, please let us know, and have a wonderful day.